Good evening. I'd like to call the Tuesday, June 6, 2017 City of Oldsmar City Council meeting to order. Our city attorney is not with us. We have Randy Morris standing in his place, who will do our invocation and our pledge. Thank you, Randy.
Dear Lord, give us the power to discern right from wrong and allow our words and actions to be governed thereby. May we cooperate and work to the mutual aid of serving this community. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, and once again, welcome. It's hard to believe we're already into June. I don't know where the time goes. But once again, welcome. Our first item on our agenda is the Citizens Open Forum. It allows you to address the City Council. We only have a couple of rules: that you keep it to no more than 5 minutes. You state your name and address clearly for the record. And you can speak towards tonight's agenda items, except for item number 5, which is a public hearing. If you wish to speak towards that, we will ask you to speak at that time. Having said that, anybody on this side of the room like to address the council? Yep.
Hi, my name's Eileen Brill. I live at 707 Satin Leaf Avenue. I'm not good at this, so please excuse me. I'm just a little nervous.
We're not good at this either.
Okay. There's so much controversy, or there was so much controversy leading up to the Memorial Day service. It was on Facebook, it was in emails, it was in telephone conversations. And I understand that people can express their opinions, but it really got nasty at some point. It was really directed at the city and especially the Veterans Board, the Veterans Advisory Board. And I also heard, and I don't know if you heard anything about the ceremony. I wasn't able to attend. I was sick, but my husband, Mark, he's on the Veterans Board, and he said that he heard a lot of positive comments after the ceremony. I know that in your positions, you probably get more criticisms than you do kudos or thank yous. The comments were anywhere from that was the best ceremony Oldsmar had ever put on to a former Clearwater official who was there attending the ceremony. And he said something to the effect that in the 25 years of him attending Clearwater ceremonies, that this was better than any that he attended in Clearwater. I just wanted to let you know that there were very positive comments about the ceremony. I also heard in these opinions and everything that the city doesn't do enough for its veterans. Once again, people are allowed to express their opinion about that. I happen to disagree, and that's one of the reasons why I'm up here today. I think that you and the Veterans Advisory Board do an outstanding job recognizing and honoring the Oldsmar veterans. We have a beautiful park for the veterans. How many communities have that? We also have walls there with the names inscribed on for those that have served that are Oldsmar residents. And there's, the two very important ceremonies that are there every year, Memorial Day, which we just had, and Veterans Day, which is coming up. There's a beautiful, and there's also, or there was in the past, maybe 4 or 5 years, I'm not sure the amount, but the Gold Star families had their events at Oldsmar Veterans Park. 4 years. They had you allowed them to have their events there. There's a beautiful mural done by the band Shell. We are now a Purple Heart City. And it's my understanding that in the near future, possibly as early as next year, there have been talks going on about possibly getting a Purple Heart monument erected in Veterans Park. I don't know how many communities around here can say that they've done any of that or half of it or anything, but I just want to let you know that I appreciate everything that you do, and I appreciate everything that the Veterans Advisory Board does, and I thought this whole thing has been eating at me. I wanted to post something on Facebook, but I thought that's not going to solve anything. Posting on Facebook kind of gets out of control, and it just, you get misunderstood and things like that. So I thought the right thing to do would be to come here tell you in person that I really appreciate everything that the city does. And I'm sure I'm not the only one that appreciates that. I'm sure there's other people that do and everything. But like I said, I'm sure you hear more criticisms than you do thank you. So I just want to say thank you to you and also to the Veterans Advisory Board.
Well, thank you. Thank you. As far as our ceremonies go, I think turning it over to both our ceremonies over to the Veterans Advisory Board was one of the best decisions we made, and it was unfortunate the way it unfolded. The city really took a hit, and so did the advisory council. But I think all in all, I think we were able to, to pull it together. And I heard a lot of the same things that you heard about the ceremony, and we can always do better, and we know that, and the advisory board knows that. But I think every year, and I think the council would agree that every year it continues to get better. And I think this one, sometimes I never really realized that sometimes, and it's kind of hard to keep them completely separate, but the Memorial Day and the Veterans Day, sometimes they get a little bit intertwined. But I think this one really went a long way towards honoring the men that sacrificed their lives, through Brian Anderson telling the story, not only about the two that we lost locally, but, bunkmates of his that he lost as well, and the stories that go behind them and the families that they left behind. So that's really what it's about, and hopefully moving forward we can do some more of that, and acknowledge the Gold Star families. And there are other organizations out there. I talked to Gus Bilirakis Friday before he was going to the Middle East, and I said, there are other organizations too, the MIAs, a lot of the Gold Star families got to at least bring somebody home and honor them, but there are a lot of people that never got to even bring somebody home, which that has a completely different effect on people, I'm sure. So we want to make sure that, we keep that in our thoughts, because it's the freedom that we have because of the sacrifices that they made. That's important that we remember. So thank you. And I'm sure Jerry has.
This city takes second place to nobody.
Yeah.
Nobody. No other city in the state of Florida, and how we honor our veterans. This Memorial Day was our 21st one. You've been in all of them. It's and some of this Facebook crap, I'm on Facebook because of the crap it causes. But some of the Facebook stuff that was on there got in conversations with me and on telephone, and I told them exactly how I felt, and I told them exactly what this city has done to honor veterans, and they need to take a step back and look at the picture one more time. Memorial Day was incredible.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. And
again, I want to thank the Veterans Board.
yeah, they did a great job. And, that's one of the freedoms that we have, is the opportunity to express ourselves. And, as Kathy Griffin found out, that you have the right to express it, but also people have their right to their opinion. And I think while the Facebook post, I understand it, they started to come across as mean-spirited. And so that was when it took a turn for the worse. So hopefully we're beyond that. And I look forward to our Veterans Day ceremony.
We were always beyond that.
Yeah.
This city and this veteran and the board and the Memorial Day and Veterans Park has always been beyond the nastiness.
That was great. So thank you for your comments. We appreciate it. I'm sure I speak for everybody that it was nice to hear. Anybody else on this side? I saw some. We'll go to the gentleman in the back.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Pastor Green, 3901 Tampa Road, Mount Pleasant Church. I'm standing here this evening with a praise report. We are about to embark our 100th church anniversary on this Sunday. And
Congratulations.
if I'm not mistaken, it is the oldest building in Oldsmar.
Oh, it's the oldest church in
The
Oldsmar.
oldest church.
Okay.
Well, I believe.
Also the oldest school.
Oldest school.
First school in Oldsmar.
Yes. school and church in Oldsmar. And we're celebrating 100 years on this Sunday. And we have a lady coming down from Gainesville that attended school there.
Wow.
She is 100 years old. And so that's letting us know that the building is actually older than 100. But she'll be here on this Sunday, Lord's will. And I intend to have her speak, just give a little testimony, because she have a lot of history and she's still speaking fluent and she's in her right mind. And that is a blessing.
That's incredible.
All right. And so I came today to invite everyone that could and would come out and share with us in this celebration. And it's going to be a celebration. All right. 100 years.
In 1966, we moved to the city of Oldsmar. And one of the first things we did, I worked for Winn-Dixie at that time, which was a huge mistake, but anyway, I was a manager. And one of our truck drivers told me that he always, that the little building over here on Tampa Road,
Pull your mic closer to you.
I'm sorry, that the little building on Tampa Road, once every 2 or 3 months, they had a sing. So my wife and my 4 kids went over. It was a sing of incredible. It's a little building, and we sat there for a couple hours. I didn't sing,
God.
but because I can't sing, I can't even carry a tune. But if you want to read the history of the little building, it's in my first and second book I wrote on the history of Oldsmar, which is in the library. Do you know where the building was first placed?
Yes. Yeah. It was placed in the back and they moved it to
It was
Tampa
placed
Road.
almost where the fire station is today on
There,
Pine
yes.
Avenue.
Wow, that far back, really?
Way back on Hayes Road. Yeah.
That's where it's set. And old man Boyd, he ran his cattle back there. And he told him, he said, "You're actually in my land, you're in my way, he said, "I'll tell you what I'll do." He says, "I will move your building over on another piece of land." I knew Boyd. So what he figured he would do, he would move the building to a piece of land that would be never worth anything.
How'd that work out?
Look at us now.
How do you like me now?
Moved it on Tampa Road. Now, and I know that you all are going to donate that building someday to the city of Oldsmar.
Well, I won't be the one to promise that.
These meetings are recorded, by the way.
Because we are looking for another 100 years,
Good for you.
I hope so. That building needs to stay there as long as I am alive, which won't, not that much longer, but this is a promise. I will fight you if you move it.
What time is the service?
Yeah.
on
11
Sunday?
o'clock. It's 11 o'clock. We're having 2 services on Sunday. 11 o'clock is our first service, and 3 o'clock is our second service. I'll be doing the first service Sunday morning. We have another church from Clearwater coming in on Sunday afternoon at 3 o'clock. So we have 2 services on this Sunday. And we're looking to have, and Jerry, it'll be there.
The Lorenzo,
He'll be here.
He's a really good friend of mine. And he came up to me one time because he knew I was studying the history of Oldsmar, and he said, "I have studied and studied and studied and cannot find any records on the building." I said, "Well, where are you going?" "Well, I said, "Back then, Lorenzo, it was in Hillsborough
County, yes.
I said, "You're in the wrong county."
That's great.
That's right.
Well, we look forward to it.
I'll be there.
Do we have information on that, Ann or Kathy, that we can get to the council so we remember? Okay. Yeah, 11 o'clock on
11
Sunday.
o'clock Sunday morning.
I'll try and make it.
Thank you.
And everyone is invited.
All right, thank you. Hey, I saw you're next.
Good evening, Dave Tilkey, 505 Arlington Avenue East. Back to the veterans issue. You know, the city does amazing things for veterans. One thing I wanted to add was the 5K race that the city supported us on Memorial Day weekend, on Saturday morning. We had a very successful event honoring our heroes, had close to 500 runners out on the street. The mayor was there to give everyone a send-off. It was very successful.
I had a great time, too.
Yeah.
Time, I mean, you know.
Yeah.
You
Yes.
didn't lead them the wrong way, did you?
No, I didn't. I didn't pull a Beaverland, no.
I did.
We did get some mileage, as you could call it, in the publicity era. On Thursday before the event, I believe it was Channel 28, I may be wrong on that one, but the ABC affiliate did a story on one of the VIP warriors that races in wheelchairs. That's one of the organizations, one of the beneficiaries of the race. And it did a little story about him and mentioned he was going to be racing Saturday. Because of something that happened on Saturday morning, they did a follow-up story also that really mentioned Oldsmar and all that Oldsmar does for veterans. Yeah. His wheelchair broke out on the course.
I was standing there, that was incredible to watch.
Yeah, we got the call on the radio that, you know, we needed to go out and pick him up because his wheelchair was broke. Andy's a big gentleman. So we sent a pickup truck out there and a couple of helpers, and they got his chair in the back of the truck and started heading up toward the finish line. And as they got near City Hall coming up Park, Andy says, gentlemen, he says, I've got to get across that finish line. So two of the veterans that were in the truck with him got him out of the truck, and one got under each arm, and Andy walked across that finish line. The video was shown on the TV station. They were talking about, you know, great things happening in Oldsmar with no brother left behind. So
What happened to Andy's? I know he obviously was injured, but he doesn't have great mobility. He can move them, but he doesn't have great mobility.
Andy woke up one morning paralyzed.
Wow.
He had a stroke, I believe, during the night, and just woke up paralyzed. He's a great warrior. But the reason I came up was purely to thank the city for all the support y'all have given us over the last 2 years. We'll be back next year, God willing. Y'all got shirts, little commemorative shirts from the event. Hopefully we thank the community for their support. There's a little inconvenience to the residents on Shore Drive and Lafayette as the runners are going by, but I think everybody understood the good that comes out of it. I don't know if we had any complaints. The Pinellas County Sheriff's Department was a great support. The Public Works Department was amazing support for us, and I think everybody had a good time, so thank you.
And I heard a lot of good things about the route, too, so they really liked the route.
It's a great route, and they're looking forward to next year. We had close to 500 runners.
Good. Yeah, thanks for your guys' efforts, too, so thank you. Anybody else?
We watched it on Shore Drive West.
Did you? Yeah, yeah. Anybody else on this side? Yep, yeah, Jerry?
509 Shore Drive East, Jerry Antozzi. I'm also the volunteer curator at the Oldsmar Historical Society Museum, and we have a little military display in which we honor any veterans. We have Frankie Gross in there. We have Jack Abernathy, and if anyone's watching on TV, if they have any military family member that they would like to honor and bring any photos or bios in, we'd love to have them and put them in a notebook or on display, whatever we can do. The other thing I wanted to mention, the Purple Heart, we have reference to our city being a Purple Heart city, and Mark Brill was very kind too. Every time the city got a coin, should I say, you gave me a coin too, so I could do a display with the Purple Heart coins that we have to designate Oldsmar as a Purple Heart city. Also, I wanted to mention today is the 73rd anniversary of D-Day.
Yes, it
And
is.
even though we're having council meetings, anyone in here, if you leave and get down to St. Pete Clearwater Airport, the honor flight, the West Coast honor flight, has a group coming in at 8:30, and it's veterans that go to Washington, D.C. to see the different memorials and everything. And the honor flight does that a couple of times a year, so they have one more this summer. We had a special group also that came to the museum, but I'm going to pass the torch to Ken Sidorowicz to tell about the group that came. But Deb Polly organized the itinerary, and Mayor Doug Beavis, Vice Mayor Dan Saraki, Felicia Donnelly, she's the new Leisure Services. I almost did what Bill did and said Parks and Rec, going back to that old term.
It is Parks and Rec.
To me, it is. It comes back. And Ken Sidorowicz, Marianne Cruz, Dave Pacheco. We couldn't have been more representative for this group. So in a few minutes, Ken Sidorowicz will tell about this delegation that came from New Delhi, India. So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Jerry.
You mentioned Frankie. We all know Frankie. Jack Abernathy that she mentioned was a POW in Germany
Right.
during the Second World War.
Was in the Battle of the Bulge, was captured. He was captured on his 21st birthday.
Oh, my gosh, that's not
Yeah,
the way you want to spend your birthday.
very sweet gentleman. He was a gentleman, yes. Thank you.
Also, about the veterans, I had talked to Gus too, and we talked. I don't text, by the way, but I did text Gus while he was in Israel and told him about our Memorial Day services.
Yeah.
And I said, you would have stood proud.
Yeah, good. He's always looking out for Oldsmar, so thank you, Jerry. Anybody else on this side? Anybody on this side? Yep.
Evening. David Murray, 610 Park Boulevard. My wife and I have an unfortunate neighbor situation that we want to bring up to y'all. We've really exhausted our efforts as to who we can contact, and we just can't really get much help. And what we have going on is our neighbors have carved a gigantic racist acronym on a tree right in front of their house. In addition to
Say that one more time.
a gigantic racist acronym on their tree. We got pictures for y'all if you would like to see it.
Yeah, I've seen it. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, and it's really unfortunate. In addition to, they have obscenities spray painted very large on their driveway, and in addition to a myriad of other things. But we've gone through code enforcement. They're telling us there's nothing they can do. We've talked to law enforcement, kind of getting the same answer, and things are just escalating. There's some vandalism done to Ari Olds Park, spray painting. Looks like the same people did it. It was just done this weekend.
I just got a text about it tonight, so.
Yeah, can't be judging Jerry, but looking at the handwriting, it looks like the exact same people, which is unfortunate. And my wife and I were kind of looking for advisement what to do. We've really spoken to everyone that we've can, and we've all just been told there's nothing they can do. It's their property, they can do what they want. But it's racist, first of all, and it's just unfortunate. And the obscenities it kind of hurt us. We have a 4-year-old boy who's learning how to read, so I don't really want him reading that either. And we're just kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. And if
We've kind of, I know Councilmember McGee brought this up at one point, and Bruce can tell it. I mean, we are a free country, and they're allowed to be idiots if they want to.
Understood.
But if they're breaking laws or breaking codes or things, that's where we can step in, or vandalizing property.
Sure.
I assume the tree is on their property?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
The homeowner's tree, when I saw that, I'm thinking, how would the actual owner of this house not be infuriated that they're carving into a tree that when they leave, when their rental agreement is up, that tree's still going to remain, and that homeowner is going to have to take care of that. What I don't understand is why we haven't been able to get the homeowner to address it. I mean, I know there's laws and constitutions, but if it were me and I had a child and I was living next door to that, I would move if my city could not help me.
Is there a way we can reach out to the?
I mean, I know they've tried. I even think the CPOs gave me the phone number, but the number I called, it didn't go to the homeowner, because I was going to call and talk to the homeowner myself, and it was someone that.
I mean, maybe they don't. Maybe the owner doesn't even know what's going on.
He does. I can supply you contact information. We've met with him a number of times, and
Does he not care?
not really. Unfortunately, he's just. It's a rental. I don't really care. Kind of attitude, which is unfortunate as well.
It's sad. It really is sad when you have to live next door to
Yeah,
I had to do it
Whatever.
for a long time, just not that
It,
bad.
you know, they have freedoms,
yeah,
so do I.
yeah.
My wife has a saying that, my wife's small, she says, I take up 2 square feet of this earth. Don't invade it.
Yeah.
Or if there's things we need to change within our code to prevent this,
I would
that's
hope
what I
so.
would like to do, because especially just the cars in the front yard, and I've driven by there and I guarantee there are some illegal activities going on inside that house, because I was young once and I see 5 to 6 giant trucks pulled up in the front yard late at night. You know, there's definitely some things going on in there, and there should be something that our sheriff's office or we can do to prevent that here in the city.
Well, why don't we ask our newest city attorney? He's sitting over there saying, don't say anything.
Yeah. Let's hear what Bruce's thoughts are, and then I'm sure you were getting ready to say something, right?
Well, it wasn't anything new. I mean,
Understood. Yeah,
because I don't have anything new to share with you, David.
Understand.
I mean, you know the history better than anyone else. Most of us sitting up here know something about it, but we don't live next door.
Understood. Yeah, it just keeps escalating, and
I tell you, I
I'm
don't
saying
even
using the
walk on that
driveway.
side
I
of
mean,
the
there's
street anymore.
they kind of highlighted it with orange now, which is nice.
No, I live off of Park. I do not walk in front of their house anymore with
Oh
my
yeah,
dog,
nobody does. They
because I
block
don't
the
feel
driveway with their
comfortable
trucks, and I
doing
mean, there's a million other things we could talk about, but these are kind of the two that are like the most disturbing to us.
It's unfortunate that some people take pride in that kind of behavior, but
Sure. But there's nothing to be done. There's nothing to be done. It's just kind of looking for
No, there's something to
clarification.
be done. We just need to figure
Yeah,
out
what
what
it is.
legally we
Yeah.
can do.
Well, just a suggestion, Mr. Moore is filling in for Mr. Trask tonight. He's part of the same law firm. I think you mentioned that already, Mayor. But anyway, maybe if the council would like, you could ask that Tom give you a report on, what the current situation is, or maybe what options he might recommend. I don't really have any at this point.
Sure.
Maybe you could provide that, next month or something.
I can certainly relay that to Tom, and sir, I appreciate you coming before this body. I have small children. I appreciate how respectful you're being about the situation, both to us and otherwise, and understanding there's limitations. I think this council has appropriately raised some of the concerns. There are constitutional limitations on free speech, on private property,
Right.
on a number of things. If you open today's paper, this is not an issue, unfortunately, that's unique to even this community. There was an article just today about somebody similarly doing something in the St. Pete area and putting up signs that the neighbors are up in arms about, and that,
Right.
there's only so much a city can do given the government's role relative to individual citizens' rights. But I can certainly relay your concerns. One of the things we need to look at is all the facts. Obviously, myself sitting here in an acting capacity today, I don't know any of the background or other issues that some of the commissioners might be addressing. And, to the extent the city can take any action, it is limited by its own code and what code violations are known. And people can have their suspicions, but what's known and actionable is very different.
Yeah.
I would just say, certainly I'll relay your concerns to my colleague. If there's anything that we can do or that we can recommend as action, we'll inform the commission. But again, there's a lot of limits on what a city can do in that kind of context.
And I think the same applies to the sheriff's department, that, they're aware of it. And we had a situation with a house over on Lee, and we kept getting told of, bad activity that was going on. It's very difficult to track what goes on inside of 4 walls, but
But that house is gone. I mean, the house is there, but whoever was in the house is gone.
Well, they finally caught them.
on
Yeah.
Lee, yeah, he's in jail. He's in jail, but
Yeah.
that's unfortunate. We'll find out what Tom's thoughts are. Have you reached out to the media at all?
No. Just
hurt.
code enforcement, law enforcement. I mean, the CPO's probably been in my house once a week for 6 months, so.
Yeah.
There's always
Oh, I
something.
thought you were the troublemaker when I grew up.
Yeah, right. I know. It looks like it.
No.
Probably all my neighbors think that, but
No, I'm
unfortunately,
kidding.
it's not us. Yeah, it's just there's
Well,
always something.
I mean,
so.
and I would love the homeowner's contact information. As I said, I
I'll
did
supply
get
it to
hold
you.
of them. I mean, when I see the things that are like spray painted on or the carvings in the tree, as a homeowner myself, I can imagine there's certain things that you want to give your tenant freedom to do.
Sure.
But when they're actually damaging my private property with things that I will have to pay for to fix, and I can't imagine getting that carving out of the tree would be something that would easily be done.
Right.
I would want to know. And I think it might take a call from each of us for them to understand how serious we are about having this tenant being
held accountable.
Yes, absolutely. And trust me, I walk by it every day. I feel your pain. I don't appreciate it in our city at all because we are not known for having those type of residents in our city. And as a tenant or not, a homeowner, they should be respectful of the city and the neighbors here.
Are
So
they a tenant?
they are
They are
tenants.
tenants.
It's a
Yeah, they're
rental.
tenant.
It's a rental. That's what's even more
Can
infuriating.
we not write to the owners and just,
Yeah, I mean, the CPOs have talked to them,
That's what we're just talking about now, is reaching
but I
out to
would
the
like
owner.
to talk to them
I
myself.
mean the city?
Yeah, well, we'll wait for advice from Tom on what we can do, so.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, yep. Keep us updated on it,
Had
too.
to even come here to speak about it.
We'll just get the ball rolling. So appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Or keep the ball rolling.
Yeah, right.
Yep. Thank you. Anybody else on this side? Yeah, Ken?
Ken Sidorowicz, 5 Pelican Drive. On a lighter note, getting back to what Jerry was talking about, the council is aware, but just to share with the audience and my fellow citizens, we had the city hosted 20 people or so from New Delhi, India, from the Rotary organization there in India. They got a wonderful tour of the city. They stayed even after the mayor addressed them over at City Hall. They stayed for the rest of the tour. They went on a tour of the
Did you
city.
expect them to leave after I talked to them? I'm not sure how.
They did stay.
Okay.
Yes. They came over to the Historical Society downstairs. Jerry took half of the group. I took half of the group up here. Dan was here sitting in, impersonating Dan Saraki. And I just wanted to say that besides the wonderful tour that they got, one of the gentlemen that was in the group up here, when I pointed out that this was my favorite part of the city council chambers, sharing that any citizen can come up here during city council and address the council. He was sitting right here, wasn't he, Dan?
Yes.
He said, anybody can come up here? And we repeated it and said, yes. He said, anybody can come up here, like happened tonight. And he was just surprised at that. And that's one of the wonderful things
Another
about our
freedom that we-
city
another
and
freedom we
country. So, thank you.
Thanks, Ken. Anybody else in the room like to address the council?
We got some, if you allow me, we have some elderly people here in town tonight. I was asked a question,
Wait, you're talking about yourself?
I mean, the other elderly people. He asked me a question, when did 3357 zip code leave the city of Oldsmar? You should know. When did we go to 34677? Tell me you don't know? You ran the post office.
Yes, I did. I didn't hear what you said.
When did our zip code change from 33557 to 3467? When did that change?
It was right before Richard retired.
That was,
I can't remember exactly how long that's been.
it was the early 90s.
Late 80s.
Because I
It was the early 90s. I have a letter,
Just go.
a 1991 letter that has 33557.
Right.
Okay. When did Richard retire?
Oh, my heavens.
Right about the same time.
I know that it was changed right before we both retired.
Well,
And that has been 25 years ago.
all right, you do the math.
Thanks, Jerry.
Thank you.
I've got you at 4.5 history lessons, and
Yeah,
we're only,
before we even started the meeting.
and we're only, we haven't even started the meeting yet, and we're at 4.5 history lessons. So if we could reel it back in a little bit and,
Thank you, Mayor.
you're welcome. Anybody else like to address council? No? Okay, great. I'll get into the mayor's minute. A lot of these things we've talked about again. Thanks to the Veterans Board for putting on a great ceremony. Again, it's one of the best decisions we've made is to let you do that and put the theme together. So make sure that you share that with the rest of your advisory board. So thank you for that. Also, I want to say this, our city manager, Bruce Haddock, recently attended the Florida City and County Management Association Annual Convention, and a great job by Jones Edmonds, one of our consultants, on the retirement reception held in Bruce's honor for his many years of service, so congratulations to that. Were you surprised?
I wasn't surprised, yes. Apparently, there's a lot of people in that group that can keep a secret, and
That's shocking.
she's not in that group, but my wife can keep a secret also. She apparently knew about it for months, weeks or months, and she never gave me any clues.
No, we knew about it.
Yeah, we
I
did too.
I found out a lot afterwards. Yeah,
Yeah, that's great, so.
it was very enjoyable, though, and I really appreciate it. Of course, I thank Jones Edmonds, and very nice.
That was very nice, so congratulations on that. It's already been mentioned tonight, but it's always great when we have people that come and visit and want to learn about our city, but the New Delhi India group was very nice. I got a nice lapel pin with our 2 flags on it, so I'm glad they enjoyed their time here. I saw some of the pictures, and they looks like they had fun. Just want to let you know again, Operation Pop Drop is going on. It's a 2nd annual Project Pop Drop going on through June 23rd. Bring non-perishable canned food and new slightly used clothing to many of the drop locations across Oldsmar, including the City Hall, the Chamber of Commerce, Walmart, Jack Willie's, Daddy's Grill, Synovus Bank. We're taking one tomorrow or Thursday to Famous Tate, so we've got them all over the place. The Walmart bins have already been emptied about 3 or 4 times. Thanks to Sharon Edwards for her passion. There was one at the Moose Lodge as well, so this is going to be great. Hopefully, on the 24th, the council can come out and help unload the vehicles at Oldsmar Care, so that'll be great. Upcoming event this weekend, it's the 4th annual Bob Seymour Jr. Memorial Fishing Derby, Saturday, June 10th from 7 to noon at Mobley Bayou Wilderness Preserve, Shelter Number 3. Ages 17 and over can compete for great prizes, enjoy some outdoor time. Free event, so bring your own pole and bait. Boat and land fishing allowed. So join us this weekend. Bob Seymour was I'm good friends with his brother, and he was always a big advocate of fishing in here. Oh, I do also got to let you know, if you have any young kids that ride the bus, the PSTA has a $35 all summer long bus pass. So for $35, you can get them a bus pass that will take them through August 31st, and they can get all over Pinellas County, including the beaches. So if you need more information, psta.net. And neatly enough, you probably can't see it, but the hall pass for the students was designed by a student and given an award, so kind of neat that it's a customized hall pass. So psta.net if you need more information. That wraps up the mayor's minute, so let's get into our next item, which is our consent docket. We only have 2 items. Approve the minutes of the March 21st, 2017 City Council meeting. Also approve the tentative agenda for June 20th. If nobody wishes to pull anything, I need a motion.
So moved.
Second. Motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Passes 4-0. Also, I want to let you know that Councilmember Seidel is not here today. He got the number of meetings in last month confused and scheduled a vacation thinking that this wasn't a meeting day, but at any rate, he's up to date on everything, so there's nothing hugely pressing on tonight's agenda. So next item is City of Oldsmar, presentation of the Oldsmar Business of the Quarter Award, and I believe Councilmember McGee will be doing that.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening. So this award is always very special, our Business of the Quarter Award. We have implemented along with our Chamber of Commerce to honor not only a great business within our city, but also a business that gives back to our community, so it makes them even more special. We are a proud green city. We do a lot in order to, preserve as much as we can of our resources, our reclamation facilities, our reverse osmosis water treatment facility, our LEED certifications, trash recycling, et cetera. And this particular awardee for this quarter is a business that's a leader in the recycling field that focuses on electronics. They pick up and remove unwanted electronic equipment. They destroy data according to their customer requirements as needed. They refurbish and recycle serviceable equipment when possible, and they recover metals, plastics, and other hazardous materials when equipment cannot be put back into service, and they ensure these materials are disposed of in an eco-friendly manner. OCM Management was founded right here about 12 years ago and has subsequently grown to markets in Arizona and New York, providing the same great lean green services in their market. They partnered with the city on our recycling program and collected more than 3,000 pounds of materials, including batteries, cables, laptops, desktops, monitors, and more. But their community service does not stop there. They cooperate with other local communities, including partnering with Tampa General Hospital on Earth Day projects. They also participate and donate generously to several annual golf tournaments. They support our military and work with the Pinellas Sheriff's Office and the school system to donate laptops and other computer-related items to the schools. It's always refreshing, enlightening, and an honor to learn about and recognize one of our great Oldsmar businesses. It's my distinct pleasure to present our Oldsmar Business of the Quarter Award to OCM Recycle, and if Tom or Sean Hannon are here, thank you. You must be, are you Sean?
Yes.
I'm Gabby. Nice to meet you.
Sean.
If you'd like to say anything.
I'm greatly honored to accept this award. I'm very proud. It is my father's company, and I've been working there for 9 years. I'm now the manager, so it's nice to see a city like Oldsmar doing something for somebody that, puts something other than just business. I mean,
Right.
yeah, we appreciate it.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
We're happy to have you.
Oh, thank you very much.
So you an Orangeman?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Family's from Terry.
I lived in Brewerton,
Oh, really?
right on the lake.
I've only done that once.
In Brewerton?
Once was enough for
Can't believe you. Never gone fishing for the big walleyes?
My dad doesn't have patience.
Oh, there you go.
You guys can go to dinner later if you want.
Well, congratulations.
Where am I at? Next is the proclamation for National Garden Week, and I will go ahead and read that. Must have something to do with these flowers we have up here. National Garden Week, whereas gardeners have a passion for nurturing the beauty and resources of the earth through the planting of seeds, the care of all plants, and the riches of their efforts, and whereas gardeners seek to add beauty, splendor, fragrance, and nutrition to our lives through the growing of herbs, vegetables, foliage, and flowers, and whereas gardeners work to preserve our country's traditional spirit of independence and initiative through innovation and hard work, and whereas gardeners advocate the importance of all creatures, large and small, that share our world, and their roles in a balanced and productive ecology, and whereas gardening furnishes a challenging and productive activity for many citizens, for those just learning as well as those who have years of experience, and whereas gardening promotes a healthy lifestyle that lasts a lifetime, helps reduce stress from other areas of our lives, teaches that rewards can come from diligent efforts, and whereas gardening enables members of garden clubs across the nation and the world to make a world of difference in the communities where they reside and work. Now, therefore, I, Doug Beavis, the mayor of the city of Oldsmar, Florida, do hereby proclaim the week of June 4th through the 10th, 2017, as National Garden Week in the city of Oldsmar, and acknowledge the importance of gardening and the numerous contributions of gardeners as an enhancement of the natural environment and beauty of this city, dated this, the 6th day of June, 2017. Doug Beavis, Mayor. And I would present this to
All the club members that are here.
We'll back her up. We'll back you up.
Who's the spokesperson?
Jerry is an honorary member.
You got it?
Dan is a
Congratulations.
Thank
We
you.
did this last year.
We did?
Yeah.
I already killed your plant from last year, so. No, I'm
Oh,
kidding.
that's why
I gave it away.
That's why I brought you
Here
in.
you are, you can hold on to that, or
Okay.
tell us a few things.
All right. Well, we wanted to thank everybody for recognizing the Top of the Bay Garden Club and for recognizing National Garden Week in the city of Oldsmar. And to summarize what this week is all about, this is a week set aside as an opportunity to reach out and work together with our community to promote our shared objectives of beautification, education of environmental efforts, gardening, and pride in our community. As part of this effort, our garden club members are helping to refurbish the garden room at the library.
Nice, yep, yeah, that's great.
Did you want to say a few words?
Want to introduce the group here?
Okay. Okay, these are the Top of the Bay Garden Club members. Betty Ray, she is the Maltinas. She's the last past president.
Yes.
The Loretta
Wyatt.
Loretta Wyatt, Julie Pelosi,
Jerry Ann Tozy.
Paula Watts.
Sandy Sears.
And Babe Wright.
We'd like
Dan
to say
Saraki.
one more thing.
Oh, you can say whatever you want.
Okay, be careful. Every year when we plant the tree in Oldsmar, we have had a lot of help from your young men. Brian is a wonder. I've known him since he was 4 years old, and you should be glad to have him working for you. And we want to thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you so much for all you do. You want to get a picture?
one
Yep,
last
go
one.
ahead. Go ahead. Tell us what we got. What do we have
Okay,
tonight?
this year we brought pentas. This is an annual form of the flower, and they're great to plant in a sunny part of the yard. And they provide nectar for bees and butterflies, which are very important for pollinators in our environment.
Yes, that's always a big part of the process, so thank you very much.
Now we can get a picture. Yeah.
Jerry, come on down. You're an honorary member, so you might as well get a picture.
There's nothing like
Dan, you're a member.
You should be in the picture.
All right. Nothing like being in
A group of women.
Got us all? Squeeze like it like this.
Jerry, keep squeezing. There you go, more. Oh my God, I got you all in.
Get a plant.
There, Jerry, you hold the plant.
There we go. I got one. I got one. Yeah, you're good.
You're good. Okay, look right here.
Awesome. Thank you.
Plant. I kept mine last year. Thank you, babe.
All right, that was the fun part of the show. Now we get over to the city attorney.
This is the fun part.
We'll see.
Ordinance 2017-09, an ordinance declaring the intention of the city of Oldsmar, Florida to annex certain real property located in Section 22, Township 28 South, Range 16 East, further described as Lot 22, Block 17, map of Section Number 1, West Oldsmar, parcel number 22-28-16-96660-017-0220 into the corporate limits of the city of Oldsmar and providing for the effective date of this ordinance. This has been a first reading of ordinance number 2017-09 by title only.
This is a public hearing. Does anybody, Yolanda, wish to address the city council on this? Identify yourself and why you're here, which I know why.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council members. My name is Yolanda Castrati. I live in 143 19th Street, Palm Harbor. And I'm currently a student of Public Policy Administration at SBC. I would like to thank you all of the council members for allowing me to present tonight. I'm here to discuss the agenda item 5, Ordinance 2017-09, annexing 3156 Huron Avenue, West Oldsmar, Section 1, Block 17, Lot 22. This property is located in an unincorporated area of Pinellas County. This is a non-controversial annexation in that, first, the property owner has requested annexation of the property where there currently sits a duplex. And second, common boundaries with the property already exist with the city limits of Oldsmar. There are many potential benefits supporting the annexation of this property for both the city of Oldsmar and the property owner. There are four main benefits for the city of Oldsmar. The first is economic. The annexation increases the tax base and revenue of the city. This provides the ability for the city to be more responsive to its homeowners and business owners, and to enhance its infrastructure. Second, it increases the population base in the area. This is important as there are certain state and federal funding formulas based on total population. Third, annexation of this property provides an opportunity for increased control of planning and zoning regulation for the area. And fourth, this particular property and nearby properties appear to be owned by a family, so there is an opportunity for annexation of their additional properties in the future. In addition of these benefits for the city, there are a number of main benefits for the property owner as well. First, the property owner will be able to receive resident rates for utilities such water, sewer, and garbage. Actually, the property owner's rates for these services should decrease as their property taxes will help to defray the cost of these utilities. Second, infrastructure such as the maintenance of roads and street lights will be provided. Third, the property owner will be able to utilize when needed additional city infrastructure services such as fire, recreation, and library services. Fourth, due to the smaller size of the local Oldsmar government versus the county government, the property owner will have more convenience and fewer delays when requesting services such as local permits. Fifth, the property owner will have the opportunity to vote for elected officials in the city of Oldsmar, have local representation and a bigger voice and a stronger say with their elected officials and in what their local government is doing. I fully support the annexation of this property. By allowing this annexation, it will benefit both the city of Oldsmar and the property owner, and overall, it will have the quality of life and sense of place for the neighborhood. I recommend that the City Council authorize annexing of West Oldsmar Section 1, Block 17, Lot 22 into the corporate limits of the city of Oldsmar. Thank you again for allowing me to speak tonight. I want to thank you, the City Clerk, Ann Nixon, for her assistance during this project and her time. Thank you very much. And I want to thank you also my professor, Jeffrey Conchabel, for giving me the opportunity to speak tonight at the council meeting. Thank you for your service. Thank you for doing such a great job for the city.
Thank you. That's awesome. And I've said this before, this is probably the 6th or 7th student from SPC we've had. If they want me or any of the council members, if they want to come down and talk to the class, I'd be glad to do it if we can work it in our schedule. So you did a great job. I don't know, we should have probably had her around when we tried to annex East Lake Woodlands.
Thank you.
And you could have told them the difference between in the county and being in our great city. So I like that part. Can we highlight that?
He probably would not want to have been part of that.
Thank you so much.
Do you know how long the city of Oldsmar has been trying to annex East Lake, thank you, West Oldsmar?
You're about to find out.
60 years. You wouldn't have had to say a thing. We love to annex West Oldsmar.
Well, good luck with your schooling. When do you graduate?
I hope next spring.
Awesome. That's great.
Yeah, you did very good job.
You did great.
I
Awesome.
think you were probably the most thorough of
That
the
was
students
yeah.
we've had.
That's,
So it was
you
really
did a
good.
great job. So,
Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm only going to vote for it because of what you said.
Thank you.
Job.
Anybody else like to address the council? Seeing no one, we'll close the public hearing. I need a motion.
So moved.
Second?
Second, I thought for sure you'd be jumping at the chance.
One more of
Yep,
them.
one at a time. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on this? Nope. Call the roll, please.
Vice Mayor Saraki?
Yes.
Councilmember McGee?
Yes.
Councilmember Beverly?
Absolutely.
Mayor Beavis?
Aye.
First reading of ordinance 2017-09, annexing 3156 Huron Avenue, passes with 4 votes for and 0 against.
Awesome. Thank you again for coming out and speaking and taking the time to learn about our great city. So next, oh, sorry. Did I jump ahead of you? Oh, no, that was it, right? Nothing else?
Nothing further.
I was
Mayor.
making a
Thank
note
you.
on the next item. Thank you. City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. The next item, authorize the city manager to advertise for bids for construction of downtown water main project. So the project's been underway, well, it's not underway, under design for the past several months. The design is nearing completion. The schedule is that we would receive bids in August. And the area covered is from Park Place, south of 580, Park Place to Lafayette Boulevard. So these are some of the oldest water lines still in service in the city. A number of them are undersized. It's primarily galvanized pipe, some cement asbestos pipe. And the project will result in improved water quality, pressure, and fire protection for this area of the city. Let me take a couple of minutes to talk about the financial part of it. The estimated cost of construction now is $2.9 million, which is above what had been included in the capital improvements program. So you'll see that reflected in a budget resolution, which will be before you at the next meeting. As you're aware, we typically do formal budget reviews in March and June and the fall of each year. So this is one of the things that will be included in that. A resolution for the funding, it will be paid for out of the Water and Sewer Fund and the retained earnings of the Water and Sewer Fund. Also, it had been in the capital improvements program over a 2-year period, this year and next year. Under this schedule, as I said, we expect council would award a bid in August. By the time the contractor gets his first payment, it's probably going to be the next fiscal year anyway, so it's all now wrapped into one bid, and it would be one contract awarded for all of the work. Since, well, it was discussed with Councilmember Beaverland, and he does live in the area, and he volunteered to bring in a sample of a repair clamp that was used
That's why
on
we
his
don't drink
street
our
on
own
Pine
water.
Avenue. So you can see that repairs are needed.
This is the second one in front of my house this year.
So that would be also,
Probably no more life left in that? No more
we
life?
got our money's
Maybe
worth
we
out
can
of
put
that, I
some duct
think.
tape around that thing.
Yeah, I'm saying that black fixie tape that they fix everything with now.
So I recommend that you authorize us to advertise for bids.
Mr. Mayor, I don't make many motions.
No, you don't.
I would like to make the motion that we go ahead with this project so the Beaverlands on Pine Avenue can drink water that has not seeped through this thing. We drink bottled water.
Yeah,
I think I'll second that for you, Sherry.
Thank you.
thank you for show and tell. That was nice. We have a motion and a second. Yeah, how old is that pipe, you think?
The system was put in there in about 1952, am I right?
I think that's about right. I would say that if we would cover most all of it, it would be between 1945 and 1965 in this area where we'll be doing the work. So even the most recent in that period of time would be over 50 years old now.
I've always said that if we do this thing, always do my house last. Because I'm on council. I'm requesting you do it first.
Okay, Dan.
Now with that, I don't know how I'm going to vote, so. We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion or any other props you want to bring out?
Nope.
Nothing? Motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Passes 4-0. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Item 7, approve stipulation of parties agreement with the Florida Department of Transportation and CSX Transportation for closure of Exeter Street Railroad Crossing, installation of gates at Forest Lakes Boulevard, and opening Burbank Road Railroad Crossing. So there exists currently a stipulation of parties that expires in December of this year. As you're aware, the first part of the work is done, that the Exeter Street crossing has been closed. And I think that the council members are also aware that due to the necessity to relocate a gas main at the Burbank Road location, the project's been delayed now. So we know it's not, all the work will not be finished by December when the current agreement would expire. So now you have before you this evening a replacement agreement. It's already been approved by the railroad and prepared by DOT. It would, it's also for 4 years. It expires in '21. Hopefully all the work would be done before then. And there's really no change to the terms other than the agreement that expires this December is now replaced with a new agreement.
The city manager at one time wanted to be the city manager when the Burbank project was probably finished, but he'd probably have to stay here another 7 years to see it happen.
You may want to do that.
Yeah, I don't think so.
No, that's not going to happen. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to respond to those. I recommend approval of the stipulation of parties agreement.
Motion and a second, please.
Move.
A second.
Second, and the only question I have is, there's a fourth party in this, which is the state for the $1.5 million. I know we had some discussions about this. Are we still comfortable that they're not going to rescind that from us, or has there been communications?
They're well aware of the need to extend that agreement as well.
Okay, and they're on board with that, the consultants working with them, or we are, or all parties are? Okay, it's beyond our control, you know, so.
That's right. They recognize that it's not due to anything we did or didn't do.
Okay, perfect. Any other questions? Nope. All those in favor?
Yes.
Aye. 4-0, thanks.
Thank you. Mayor and council, item 8, approve interlocal agreement for extension of infrastructure sales surtax, the penny for Pinellas. So before you this evening is a new interlocal agreement. It covers the period from 2020 to 2030. I know you're all aware that there's a referendum on the ballot this November for the renewal of the penny for Pinellas. It's been in place since 1990. And sometimes this is referred to as the fourth penny or penny 4 from the previous decades. The estimate for the city of Oldsmar over this period of time from 2020 to 2030 is approximately $17.5 million. The interlocal agreement is the same agreement that would be executed by all 24 municipalities in Pinellas County government, and the distribution is primarily related to your population. There are some other provisions in the agreement. The county takes an amount, I'll say off the top, for criminal justice activities, and then if this program is approved for another 10 years, there's a new pot of money that the county is going to set aside for affordable housing and economic development. And the cities can also partner with the county for the use of those funds. If you have any questions or comments, I'd be happy to respond to those. I recommend approval of the interlocal agreement for an extension of the penny for Pinellas, officially known as the infrastructure sales surtax.
Need a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Motion and a second. A discussion on this item?
I do have one. When this started back in 1980 something, whatever it did, and the next time it came up, Oldsmar was one of the few cities that actually had documented, thanks to the city manager, had actually documented what we used the tax money for, and many of the cities couldn't document it. They were using the money for anything. Oldsmar had documentation of where we used that money, that 1 cent sales tax money, which has actually increased the benefits to everybody in the city of Oldsmar. Thank you, Bruce.
You know, I just wanted to say that, Al, the report that you have here is excellent, because I had no idea of all the things that were done with that penny for Pinellas.
It's incredible.
It's incredible. I went through it, and I was just really amazed. Thank you for that.
Yeah, and to that point, you know, with a lot of the different committees that I'm on, you know, the county's made many presentations, and they have a map, and when you look countywide, it not only things that you can touch and feel, and parks and things like that, or this bank building, but it's also some infrastructure work and things like that. So I mean,
It's been incredible.
it's incredible. So the only other comment is, do we know when does the county administrator expect to have all these back, or is he looking to have all these hopefully back?
I think they expect the county commission to act on it in July.
Oh, okay, good, so fairly quickly.
And one good thing about it is the Yankees pay for it.
A lot of it. Well, and to Yolanda's point tonight, when she was talking about the annexation, you know, a lot of this is done based on population of your city. So the more people that you can add to your city, the bigger disbursement you have of this fund. So exactly what she was talking about a few minutes ago. So any other discussion?
No.
If not, all those in favor?
Yeah.
Aye.
Passes 4-0.
Thank you. Mayor and Council, item 9, approve changing name of Canal Park to Oldsmar Sports Complex. This has been discussed before, and at the council's direction, it was referred back to the Leisure Services Advisory Board. I'd like to ask our Leisure Services Director, Felicia Donnelly, to give you an update.
Good evening.
Good evening. The Leisure Service Advisory Board at their May 8th meeting recommended that it be called the Oldsmar Sports Complex at the suggestion of the City Council. Canal Park represents the largest collection of our sport facilities in Oldsmar and includes the internationally recognized BMX facility. So they recommend that that the name be changed to Oldsmar Sports Complex.
Actually, it was Gabby's idea.
It wasn't anything ingenious, so that's.
I assume it was unanimous?
It was unanimous.
Good.
It must have been, we all thought it was a great idea.
I'll take it.
Thank you. Need a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second, motion and a second. When do will we have a sign change, or are we going to wait to see how the Canal Park design, or Oldsmar Sports Complex design works out as far as?
I think we'll change the signs before
then get it-
all that comes to pass, yes.
Maybe nothing exuberant or anything.
Well,
but
you don't
at
want to
least-
do the old log that Jerry has?
The old log whittled out of.
I do have the picture that we,
Well, the reason I say that is because the entrance is moving. At some point, it's going to move up
Yeah.
the road a little bit.
I
so-
do have the photo of the entrance sign.
I'm sure you do. I'm sure you do. We have a motion and do I have a motion? Did I call for? Yeah, motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Passes. Might as well hang out there for a second.
Thank you. The next item, approved name for the disc golf course. So, yes, Felicia, if you want to present that item, please.
In accordance with the resolution 2016-2, the Leisure Service Advisory Board recommended establishing the name Oldsmar Disc Golf Course, primarily for the same reasons. They really wanted to reinforce the branding of the location and call it, Oldsmar Disc Golf Course so that there's no confusion about where it is.
Good. I think it helps us to continue to brand it. So we can't get Premier stuck in there somewhere. The old Premier. I need a motion.
So move?
Second. Motion and a second. Gabby, thank you. Any discussion?
No, love it.
No? All those in favor?
Yes.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor and Council, item 11, approve amendment to City Manager's Employment Agreement. So this formalizes the discussion that the council had back in February and the schedule that we're on now for the recruitment and selection of a new city manager, and that the new manager is expected to assume those duties on October 1st. And as was discussed at the work session back in February, I would remain an employee until January 31st. And this amendment to my employment agreement was prepared by the city attorney and addresses some of the parameters, such as there's no change in pay during that period of time. I no longer have a city vehicle, but I would receive a car allowance. I will not have an office. I'll be working remotely. I guess those are the basics of it. So we're now implementing and moving things on forward down the road, as y'all had previously discussed. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to respond to those.
Could we amend it that he couldn't leave until December of 08, of 18 or something like that?
No. It's pretty firm with the dates. It's a 4-month period, October 1 to January 31st.
I'll give you a motion, Bruce,
Thank you.
reluctantly.
Motion and a second. Discussion is, does this seem like it's moving a lot faster than you thought it would?
Well, it's starting to pick up steam, I'll say, but I mean, it's all good.
I mean, when we first started talking about this process, it was about a year ago, but when you work the clock backwards, but it's moving along pretty quick, so I'm sure you're excited about it.
We are on schedule.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing.
I think
And I
Dean-
will have a title, Special Projects Manager.
Okay. And I think Dean was supposed to get the rough draft of the advertisement yesterday or today. So I know he's in a class, but,
He's teaching at the Fire Academy in Ocala, but I did talk to him on the phone and it has been received.
Okay.
Yes. And did you happen to see that?
I did. We reviewed it and they sent a couple changes back to the
okay, tweak it.
consultant.
When do we expect it to actually advertise? Do we know?
I think it'll start by the end of the week, is
Okay.
my understanding, if not the beginning of the next at the
Okay,
latest.
perfect.
Yeah.
right.
He sent out this week.
Okay, good. Motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye.
Yes.
Meet those class.
Passes 3-4 to nothing. Anything else?
That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. City Clerk?
Well, I just want to take a moment to thank you for not coming up with a different name for the Oldsmar Disc Golf Course, because we've created a logo. So
I can always think of something.
Other than that, I don't have anything.
And can you tell us a little about this or not?
Yeah, that right there is the BMX that we're taking with us to Rock Hill. We have to refold them a little bit,
Oh,
but
thank the Lord there's not an armadillo on there.
yeah.
I don't see an armadillo in anything we do.
I would vote against it if
I
there
love
was.
it. Yeah, this is really cute.
How'd the crab get up there?
Well, you're gonna have to ask him.
Do we get one of these? Why'd you give us so many?
Yeah, you can
Supposed to pass them down.
keep one.
Oh, did you keep one,
You can
Gabby?
have one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Oh, I can't grab two.
I did keep one. Yeah, I love it.
I like it. I assume this is another Chris Hannon special? She does great stuff. What is the significance of the crab?
Well, it's in,
Crabs there. You go by the pier
That's a
and by the water,
mangrove.
there's crabs all over the
it's
place.
mangrove.
It's a fiddler crab.
I know
isn't
what it is.
I know what it is, yeah. I like it.
Just to promote the natural environment.
The
and
nature.
location of the.
Good, I like it.
course.
Yeah, I love it.
When we moved to Oldsmar, the dog park across from where we live on Sword Drive, you could not see the park
Gives an egg.
Neat.
because of the red fiddler crabs.
Oh,
The kids used to go out there and throw firecrackers in them.
Heck, we
I
did.
wouldn't encourage that.
Yeah, I wouldn't
Torturing
encourage that.
small creatures, but.
Anything else? All right. City Council, first item is scheduled a special meeting for the selection of the city manager finalist, and I think we have 2 dates.
July 19th and 20th. I did tell Bruce on the 20th I have a Cisco offsite meeting, so I know I can't do the 20th if you guys are available on the 19th.
What did I say I had? I have something on the 19th. I think the 20th worked better for me. I have. Dan?
Both days are good. The 19th's my birthday. You guys can get me a cake.
Yeah, we won't be doing it then.
If it's your birthday, you can buy us a cake.
All right, sure.
In the afternoon, did you say?
4 p.m. I think you had some on Wednesday morning.
Yeah, I got the TDC in the morning, and then, yeah, we just have the North County Mayor Manager on Thursday in the morning, so if, I know, can you check your schedule, Jerry, and let me know what you got going on? What other pipes you're,
Have I ever
Thursday would
had-
work better for me, but Wednesday works well.
Either day is good for me.
If we do it at 4, I can see if I can leave my meeting early to get there. At 4, that's the time, right, on the 20th?
It is.
Okay.
What are we doing? Are we committing to the 20th then?
Yes, I will commit to it.
Okay. Well, I mean, text me if you're running a little late or something.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it in here and then I'll just make a note to make sure that I can leave early.
Okay,
Thank you.
thanks. Next item is select the voting delegate to the Florida League of Cities Annual Conference. Does anybody want to?
Wait a minute. Just hang in there. All right. Would it surprise you if I want to volunteer?
Yeah, because then you would be lying to us all.
Yeah, 'cause you don't go.
I don't want to lie to you.
It's kind of funny that there's a voting delegation that vote, what is it, Saturday morning or something? Saturday morning. It's like Saturday morning at 7 a.m. and you really don't do anything except show up and vote, you know? I mean, it's neat to be with all the other people, but
I recommend the guy at the end.
yeah, but it's kind of anticlimactic. And so every year, whenever we would get a new council member, which we haven't had for a year or so, we would always tell them how great of an honor it is to do it, so we didn't have to do it.
Wait, is Dan volunteering?
And Dan, this is his third one?
Just volunteer Eric, because he's not anymore. I mean, that's what I was thinking when I saw it on the agenda.
I want to do it. I enjoy going.
I know, but it'd just be so fun.
Oh, let's do that, and then if,
All right, why don't we give it to Dan, but we'll just tell Eric that we gave it to
since he wasn't here. You good for it? You good for it? If Eric can't make it, you'll go?
No, I'm going to go either way.
Yeah. We'll let Eric know he's got a bet. No, I'm kidding. I'll text him tonight and tell him that he just got voted into the FLP.
Wait a minute, who's going? You?
Dan.
Okay.
We're just teasing about telling Eric he has to go.
Okay.
Anyway, and the final item of the night is the council member comments. And with a record-setting 9.5 history lessons tonight, 9, and you wonder why we go so long. Jeff yells at me every time about how long we go. If you missed a meeting one time, I bet we'd be about by 7:15.
Am I going first?
Yes, please. One and only.
First of all, I want to tell you, Mayor, that I did not give you a history lesson on the Oldsmar water system, which I could. Anyway, Veterans Day, don't cry. Veterans Day was Memorial Day was an incredible day. And thank everybody that showed up. And thank the Veterans Board. I was proud of that day. And thank you who you are.
I was a little nervous, I've got to be honest, going into that day with the build up to it, but it turned out to be a great event. It doesn't surprise me. And again, I mentioned this, you know, at the ceremony, is that it's neat to see the families bring out their kids and really make sure that they understand what the meaning of Memorial Day is. And
You see the 7-foot kid? He was 7 foot tall.
Was he really? No, I didn't see
He
that.
was one of the Boy Scouts.
Oh, yeah, I did see him, yep. Councilmember McGee.
I have a few things. I will echo the comments about Memorial Day. That was a beautiful ceremony. I've been friends with the Gross family for quite a long time, and I did ask Craig after the event. I texted him and asked him what he thought, and he told me that they were very, very happy with the ceremony. As I had heard, a lot of people came up after and told me that it was a great ceremony. So great job to our Veterans Advisory Board, despite the controversy. I will also say that I played in the golf tournament with the Oldsmar Palm Harbor firefighters. I saw Al there
Saw that.
and Brian Mahoney. I meant to ask Al what he finished with his score, because he left a little bit early. I was going to see if we beat him, because we finished 13 under. We played pretty good.
Or you cheated better, one or the other.
No,
I'm just,
I had a good team. Also, wish everyone a happy early Father's Day. Don't forget that's coming up next weekend, Father's Day. And lastly, just in regards to the code enforcement issues, the Murray family, just throwing it out here. I don't know, obviously, everything that we can do, and I'd love to talk to Tom about it. But I mean, I know within our codes and things, I've even seen before, no pastel colors allowed on houses and things like that. And I have to believe that we could have something in our codes, because obviously not only is this a current issue, but for future issues around, carvings in trees, or the size of a carving in a tree being visible to the street, things like that we may potentially be able to change in order to assess fines on this homeowner to a point where they might actually care. To start to care what their tenant's doing disrespectfully in the city, or any type of permanent decor or paintings on driveways that's visible to the street. I think that should be in our code. I don't think people should be allowed to spray paint anything on a driveway. I'm not talking specifically about to what they're writing, but I think there might be some areas within our code that we could look at in order to prevent this, because it brings up a good point that anybody could do this anywhere within the city, whether it's vulgar or not. And I think we need to
Well, here's something to
sincerely
think about.
look at that.
Try to do it with an HOA. and find out what
Oh,
happens.
I know.
And we're more powerful than an HOA.
And same things.
Sometimes.
And same things with cars in the grass. I know I sometimes have to have a car in the grass because of a party or something of that nature. Potentially having code restrictions around having a car parked in the grass consecutively more than one day. I mean, there shouldn't be, I know I even know, some of the sheriff's office across the street have to park their cars in
They
the
have
grass.
a lot of them, yeah.
And I get it, but at the same time, if we have to make some changes here that better the entire city, I'm telling you as a homeowner, I would not want to live next to that, and I had to live next to something like that for 8 years, and unfortunately, nothing really changed because people were afraid to assess codes on my neighbor because he was known in the neighborhood for being one of the most disgruntled people that lived here, and I had to live with it, and it was unfortunate, but it wasn't to a point where I felt unsafe, where I feel like unsafe if I was their neighbor as you are, so I think it's unfortunate. I think it's been going on for way too long, and it needs to be addressed, and I think we need to
He's
seriously
still
look at our
almost your
codes.
neighbor.
No, my neighbor ended up moving, and I have a beautiful,
New
brand
house.
new house with
He did
beautiful,
move?
nice neighbors.
I thought he just moved around the
He
corner.
moved around the corner, but it wasn't him necessarily that was the issue, because he was never threatening or anything. It was that there was a scarecrow spray painted on a shed that I had to look at every day, and RVs and boats parked in the lot, and, it wasn't something attractive that I wanted to look at for 8 years, but I did it.
Well, actually, his house burned down and gave him more room to do whatever he
And
wanted.
I was sympathetic too that his house also burned down and he was using that. But all I'm saying is I think this is a big reason why we need to look at our codes and what we have in there, especially from architectural standards, and
It's in the CRA, right?
No.
Oh, it's not. Why did I think it was in there?
it's just outside
Just
of
outside.
it.
South of St.
Yeah,
Petersburg.
so I bring that up so we can think about
Yeah,
that
it's south of St.
as
Peter.
options. But I think that this homeowner is only going to start to care when you start assessing, $25 a day fine or $50 a day fine for every day that those things are going on over there. Because I don't want to see it happen again, and I feel very sorry for the Murray family and the other neighbors that have to live around there.
We'll just have to hear from Tom, because I think you mentioned last time, that's kind of a very slippery slope
I know,
when
I
you.
know.
when
But
you
I'm not
get in.
talking about freedom of speech, I'm just talking about decorative things
Yeah.
and carvings and things that I think we might have some leeway, so we'll have to talk to him, but.
Well, I'm sure our code enforcement people Greg's keeping on, he drives the city all the time, so.
Well, Tom can enlighten us.
Yeah, and that's all I have. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Vice Mayor?
Thank you, Mayor. Just to add to what Gabby, when I was on Leadership Pinellas, I did a drive around with Cindy, Deputy Cindy.
Eckler?
Keckle, and we had a call to that property, David. That was the day they painted the driveway. And Rick had shown up from the code enforcement, and we went into the backyard and saw that backyard was just a mess. Is that cleaned up? Okay, because that was one of the goals to do that, and that was several months ago, and I just wanted to say, I'm sorry you have to go through this. That's horrible. I feel horrible, and I agree
see
with.
no reason why we cannot control
Well,
the color of driveways.
we had a situation like that I think you and I both came to the code enforcement meeting. I was either that one or another one, but one of the issues that came up was a bunch of stuff in your backyard that becomes a nesting place for mosquitoes, which,
Oh, yeah.
that's an easy way to do that. So if they've got stuff back there that's, holding water and potential mosquito, harvesting or whatever you call it,
Well, the Beaverlands are gonna go to code enforcement over something just like that. I ain't gonna,
Okay. Anything else?
All right, yep, I got two other things. I just wanted to say, Felicia, I love that new bridge. I can fly on my bike and not worry about we're getting a flat tire now. I love it. Thank you so much. I'm talking about Sheffield Park's new bridge, the trail. It's fantastic, and thank you for that. Whoever did that did a great job.
She built it herself.
I bet she did. And the last thing I wanted to mention was, Paul and I lived across the street from Olds Park. We moved here in '96. We lived in that house right across from the park. And I'll never forget, they were having a Memorial Day ceremony, and we had just moved to Oldsmar, and we decided we wanted to go. We walked down to Veterans Park. It was a small ceremony. It wasn't really big. It was something, but I just wanted to say that thank you to the Veterans Advisory Board. This one by far I truly believe, was the best one I've ever attended for the city of Oldsmar. It was fantastic. You guys did a great job, and I just want to reinforce, thank you for all your hard work and and the city of Oldsmar for backing, but it was great. Great time.
And, you know, it finished right at 11 o'clock, which is great. It's an hour long, you know. Sometimes they start to get, I was telling Bruce today, they start to get long and you get hot and you just, people, they're, you know, you can't, I'm too ADHD to sit there for an hour.
And the agenda was excellently laid out. It was just, everything was really well done. Great job.
Anything else?
No, that's all I have.
There was one gaffe in it. The guy that had the last speech.
Oh, that,
you?
the old crusty guy?
I wanted to add one more thing
Well,
here.
I got so wrapped up in my speech, I forgot to retire the colors.
Yeah.
But they did.
Well, we're just not going to let you to do it again.
Yeah, look at all that, yeah.
And the last thing I wanted to mention is what Gabby said, Craig Gross came up to Paul and I right after the ceremony. He came right up to us and just said that he was really pleased with the ceremony. He really was very thankful.
And Mayor, good job on the wreath, because when Tony teared up, eyes teared up. So
Yeah.
that was a very nice gesture of you.
It was
to do
funny,
that.
thank you. I was trying to figure out a way to, you know, not upset anybody and
Yeah,
you know, do
and
the best that we
was
could.
very
And
nice.
I had that idea in my head and I went into the clerk's office and Ann goes, Mark Brill mentioned this. I said, that's exactly what I was thinking. If I got there, you know, kind of that, because I don't want to upset people and, you know, we're trying to make it one way or another. And so when I heard that the Veterans Advisory Board was on with the idea, then I was like, then it worked out well. And the prayer that he did at the need, I think that should maybe be incorporated. It was very nice to, because it was a quiet moment just between us that were standing there. And so that was very nice. So, and a couple other families came up and participated in it, so, but.
Yeah, you did a great job, Doug.
Well, everybody did a great job. It was awesome. It's a collective effort, as always. I only have really one item, great memorial ceremony, and we had talked about, and I can't remember the dollar amount, the zip line partnership funds that we'll get. Was it about roughly plus or minus 50,000? Does that sound right? 50?
I thought it was 25, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. It was about 25.
25, oh, was it? Okay, I couldn't, oh, I was thinking 10% of their total. Ours is 5% of their total, right?
That's right.
Okay, I was thinking 10, because I thought the total was like 600 or almost 700,000.
They were supposed to bring that all back to us after the year was up.
Yeah, I know, which I think they were forecasting. Anyway, that's not my point. I was thinking, and I talked to Joe afterward to kind of, because not only do they do the zip line with Empower Adventures, but they also, it's either him or through Dev, have the company that actually builds the zip lines, not only here, but in Hawaii and other parts of the country. And so my thought is, and I'm just throwing this out there, is that, you know, that it would be nice to, if the money that we got from that, obviously it's going to go into our revenue thing, but that we track it and we use it for other ecotourism things or for things at the park or at Canal, you know, at Sheffield Park with the
Disc golf.
with the disc golf, or that we do things. And I asked him this, and I thought the price was going to be higher, but I'm sure you've been at John Chestnut Park to the observation tower that they have there, built similarly to the platforms at the zip line. But I asked him how much something like that would cost roughly, and I thought it was going to be a huge number, but it was like $40,000. And I thought, how cool would something like that be? Not where the zip line is, but down at the South Mobley, right down by the beach or something. I don't know if that's something that we've ever thought about, but something neat down there at that park. Like if you got up above the trees, what a beautiful view you would have up there, and sunsets, and you know, a little tiki bar and.
I'll tell you right up front, I'll fight it.
What's that? I didn't hear what you said.
If you go deeper into the park.
No, it'd be right there by it'd be right there where the pavilions are. There's some big open, not even, you don't want to get it too close to the beach where people do stupid stuff, but right there where the picnic pavilions are. And there's several open areas, but I'm like, that would be, but he said it was like $40,000, even if it's 50, but it might be kind of neat to put the money, kind of reinvest it in ecotourism that, you know, that,
I like it.
you know, because it's not really found money, but,
By the way, are they going to come back to us with or we help them with an office location? Remember we talked about like some extra space for
I
them
don't even
to
think they have a site plan
check
yet.
in
really.
guests and.
The ball's in their court to
Okay.
submit something.
Yeah, they pulled that.
Anyway, I don't know if council has any thoughts on kind of that, or Bruce, if you had any thoughts on what we might do other than just stick it in our, it would be neat to show that we took that money and actually put it back towards more ecotourism stuff, so.
Well, that would be once it happens, that would be an agenda item.
Yeah, I get that part, but I'm just looking for input is all, what the
Well,
council
anything you
thinks. Or
can
Bruce, what your
improve.
thoughts are? I mean, to, come up with things like that.
I'm not a fan of earmarking revenue for a particular
Okay.
purpose.
We've only done that
Like
about
that,
one.
I mean, obviously, utilities are self-supporting, that sort of thing, but
We've only done that a couple of times.
I
Mark
think,
money.
it's, you let the project stand on its own merits, and it might get funded and it might not.
Okay, yeah. But I think, it's neat to see what we're doing and that even if it's not necessarily earmarked, we kind of know what we're generating off of off of those types of things and
So Oldsmar is known for our ecosystem.
yeah, so,
10 square miles and 3.5 square miles of that's parkland. I think we're doing pretty good.
and, does anybody else have anything?
No.
And with 9.5 history lessons, we are adjourned.